Welcome to Think Simple Podcast. Deep topics, simple words.
You know that feeling. It is, when you are standing directly in front of someone you have met at least 3 times.
Oh, easily 3 or 4 times.
Right. Maybe 4 times.
Yeah.
And you are looking right at their face, just smiling, and their name is completely gone.
It has just vanished.
Exactly. It is not even hiding at the tip of your tongue. It is cleanly, completely absent, like it was never saved in your mind at all.
It really is a very specific, a very terrifying kind of blankness. You suddenly realize you have to perform like 12 seconds of pure improvised theater.
Yeah, exactly. The acting begins.
Right. You start turning your body a little bit, just hoping someone else in the room walks up and says their name first. You are silently praying that someone's phone rings or maybe the building catches fire.
Just anything to avoid saying it.
Exactly. Anything just so you do not have to say, hey, you.
Well, welcome to today's deep dive on the Think Simple podcast. If you are someone who, constantly forgets names, I really want you to take a deep breath right now.
Yes, please do.
You are not careless. You are not a rude person. And you are definitely not unintelligent. Today, we are going to look at the deeply human reason this happens. Because once you understand the machinery inside your head, you will finally let go of that quiet guilt.
And, if you want to keep understanding yourself better through calm, simple conversations like this one, we would really love for you to subscribe to the channel. We are here to help you make sense of your own mind.
So let us look at what is actually happening in the brain the exact moment you meet someone new. Because, it feels like we should just be able to record a name, right?
Right, like saving a picture on a phone. It sounds so simple.
Exactly. But the reality is, it is much messier than that. When you are introduced to someone, your brain is actually doing an enormous amount of work all at once.
Oh, it is working so hard. Your working memory, which is that short-term holding space right in the front of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, it is basically acting like a juggler.
A very stressed juggler.
Yes, and it is juggling so many heavy things simultaneously.
Right, because you are reading their facial expressions.
You are listening to the tone of their voice.
Yeah, and you are trying to figure out the whole social context. And on top of all that, you are calculating where you stand socially. You are guessing if this person likes you.
Or, honestly, whether you even like them.
Exactly. And while all of that is happening, all of it, you are also planning what you should say next.
It is a lot. It is a moment of total cognitive chaos.
Which, totally explains why the name simply gets dropped.
Yeah.
Your brain is essentially juggling like 6 heavy bowling pins.
All right.
And then right into that busy moment, someone hands your busy brain a single random sound. They just smile and say, "Hi, I am Kevin."
And the brain just cannot handle it.
No, it cannot.
Yeah.
I actually have a perfect example of this. I was at a work event once, and I was holding this very full, very hot cup of coffee.
Oh, no, I can picture it already.
Right. And I was introduced to someone important.
Yeah.
So my brain was worried about spilling the coffee, worried about my posture, and trying to force a natural smile.
The bowling pins.
Exactly. Those are the bowling pins. And when he said his name, it was like someone handed me a fragile little glass ornament called Kevin while I was juggling all those pins.
And what happened to Kevin?
The glass ornament just dropped and shattered. I had no chance.
That makes so much sense, though. The brain is simply too busy to babysit that fragile glass ornament because, the raw sound, Kevin, does not mean anything yet.
Right. It is just a sound.
Exactly. It does not connect to anything you already know. It does not trigger a picture or a feeling or a memory. It just sits there, completely isolated, in a brain that is basically fighting for social survival.
Which, brings up a really fascinating question.
What is that?
Why does the brain drop the name, but remember everything else? I will remember that Kevin was wearing a blue sweater. I will remember that he laughed at my joke, but I completely lose the word Kevin.
That is such a good point.
There is actually a famous study from 1987 that explains this perfectly. It is called the Baker paradox. Let me see if I can explain it simply.
I would really love to hear your take on it.
So the researchers showed people a photograph of a man. They told one group of people that the man in the photo was a baker, like that is his job, he bakes bread.
Okay, makes sense.
But then they told a completely separate group that the exact same person's last name was Baker, Mr. Baker.
Oh, interesting. Same face, same exact sounding word.
Exactly the same word. But days later, the people who learned about the job, they remembered it easily.
Wow.
Yeah. And the people who learned the name, They forgot it completely.
That is amazing. You captured the heart of that study perfectly. And, the reason this happens is all about how the brain looks for meaning.
So,
Well, think of human memory like a giant spider web. When a piece of information falls into the web, it needs to stick to other threads to survive.
right, it needs to grab onto something.
Exactly. So the word baker as a job, it activates this huge web of warm connections. Your brain lights up with images of flour, early mornings, the smell of fresh bread.
Maybe a local bakery in your town?
Yes. So it sticks to the web beautifully. It has a place to live.
But as a name, Mr. Baker activates absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all.
It just floats there.
Yeah.
Completely empty. It has no roots. Names are, they're what we call semantically empty, which just means they have no real built-in meaning.
Right. And because our brains are highly efficient machines, they really only hold on to things that mean something.
The brain captures the emotional reality, not empty labels.
Exactly. Emotional reality.
It kind of makes me think about funerals, actually.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, at a funeral, you remember the smell of the flowers, right? You remember the heavy silence in the room.
Yes, the feeling of the room.
You remember who cried the most, or a beautiful story someone told that made you feel something deep in your chest. But you do not remember the exact words printed on the paper program.
No, you rarely remember the program.
Because your brain made a completely automatic decision about what actually mattered. Names are just the printed paper program. Everything else about a person, their energy, their voice, their kindness, that is the actual funeral.
That is a beautiful way to put it. The sensory details and the emotional details, they always win out over the administrative labels.
They really do.
So if the brain naturally drops names because they are just empty words, you might assume that everyone forgets names equally.
But that is not true, is it?
No, it does not happen equally at all. We have to look at who struggles with this the most, because there is this stereotype that people who forget names are, arrogant, or that they just do not care about other people.
Right, that they are just self-centered.
Exactly. But the research points in a completely different direction. A huge portion of people who forget names are actually highly self-aware people.
Wait, really? Highly self-aware people?
Yes, people who are trapped inside their own heads during social interactions.
Oh, the overthinkers.
Yeah.
The people carrying a little extra anxiety.
Exactly. While the other person is standing there introducing themselves, highly self-aware people are running a very loud internal monologue.
Like, am I making enough eye contact?
Yes. Is my handshake too firm? Did I just interrupt them? Am I smiling weirdly?
Oh, wow. Yeah. And while that loud narration is happening inside, the name enters the brain briefly, and the internal monologue just bulldozes straight over
It
it.
just flattens it because your attention is pointing inward, not outward.
I actually found an older study from 1973 by a psychologist named Malcolm Brenner that proved this perfectly. It is called the next in line effect.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that study up. It connects to this topic so wonderfully.
It really does. So Brenner looked at people waiting to speak in a group setting. Just imagine you are sitting in a circle, right?
Mhm.
And everyone is taking turns introducing themselves.
Classic icebreaker situation.
The worst. Right. Well, he found that people completely forgot what the person directly before them said.
Completely forgot.
Yes, because they were not actually listening. They were editing their own words in real time, just preparing for their own turn to speak.
Anticipating their own turn completely wiped out their ability to hear new information because they were already living in the future. So if you live with a hyperactive sense of self-awareness, you are permanently stuck in that next in line mode.
Always half a step ahead.
Right. You are always half a step into what comes next, which means the exact moment a name is actually offered to you, your mind is already somewhere else entirely.
Which, offers such a powerful, comforting way to look at this whole experience.
It really does.
If you are listening to this right now and you constantly beat yourself up over forgetting names, please hear this clearly. You do not have a memory problem. You have a preoccupation problem.
Oh, I want to repeat that phrase because it just changes everything.
Go ahead.
You do not have a memory problem. You have a preoccupation problem. Your mind is simply too full of your own worries in that specific second.
It is a profound shift in perspective.
Mm.
But, I do want to push back gently here, just for a moment.
Okay, sure.
Even if we understand the machinery, even if we know it is just a busy brain and a preoccupation problem, there are still two people in this interaction.
That's true.
And for the person whose name gets forgotten, well, the emotional sting is genuinely real. Having your name forgotten repeatedly, it feels like a very small, pointed message.
It does.
It feels like someone is looking at you and saying, You did not matter to me?
Yeah, it would be completely unfair to pretend that does not hurt. That is exactly how it feels to the emotional brain because our brains are wired to detect rejection.
Right.
So we have this really interesting conflict here. The person who forgot the name meant absolutely no harm. They're just overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But the person whose name was forgotten feels genuinely dismissed.
So how do we reconcile that difference? How do we make sense of it?
We reconcile it by looking at how memory actually functions over time. You see, the person who forgot your name probably thought deeply about your conversation later.
They are not just dismissing you as a human being.
Not at all. They likely remember exactly what you said about your family. They remember the specific way you laughed at a joke.
Because their brain is not a computer hard drive that stores neatly labeled files.
Exactly. It stores impressions and emotions and patterns.
They are what we call highly associative thinkers.
Yes, highly associative thinkers.
Their memory relies on a rich web of meaning. They remember stories and feelings. Like you could ask them what someone was wearing at a party 3 years ago, and they will tell you.
Easily.
You could ask them how someone felt during a specific conversation, and they will know the exact emotion.
But if you ask them for the administrative label of the person standing right in front of them, the brain just blanks.
It is gone.
Because their mental architecture is built for storytelling. It is built for emotional attunement. It is built for the kind of deep listening that actually makes people feel truly understood.
It is just terribly suited to the mechanical task of holding an empty word under social pressure.
Exactly.
We still have to live in society, though, right? Remembering names is a basic social kindness. We cannot just walk around saying, sorry, I'm a highly associative thinker. Hey, you.
No, we cannot. We definitely still need to put in the effort. But knowing why your brain fails actually helps you fix it.
How so?
Well, if your brain refuses to build a connection automatically, you have to build that little bridge manually.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do we manually build the bridge?
The easiest and most effective method is to immediately repeat the person's name back to them when you meet.
Just right away.
Right away. When they say, "Hi, I am Kevin," you look at them and say, "It is great to meet you, Kevin."
Simple but effective.
Very effective. This forces your brain to actually process the word, not just passively hear it. And it also completely stops your anxious internal monologue.
Because you have to focus on speaking.
Exactly. You cannot be thinking, "Is my handshake too firm?" if you are busy saying their name out loud.
That is great. Another trick I really like is connecting the new name to a visual or to someone you already know.
Oh, like visualization.
Yeah. If you meet a Sarah, instantly picture your cousin Sarah standing right next to her.
That is a good one.
Or if you meet a Kevin, maybe picture him holding a giant key. Kevin.
That sounds so silly.
I know, it sounds a little silly, but it really works. You are basically giving that rootless word a root. You are turning the name into a baker with a job instead of just an empty sound.
Right, you are hacking your own mental architecture.
Exactly.
Well, before we end, let's keep this simple and review what we learned today.
Good idea.
Forgetting a name is usually just about cognitive overload, having a very busy brain.
Juggling the bowling pins.
Right. And names themselves are empty words that just slip through our memory webs. And finally, if you struggle with this, you are likely just a little too anxious and preoccupied in your own head during introductions.
It is never about a lack of caring.
Never.
So it is time to drop the shame spiral. So many of us carry this low-grade belief that forgetting names makes us an uncaring person. We worry that we move through the world without truly seeing others.
But that is not true.
No, it is not. You are not absent. You are not dismissive. Your brain simply prioritizes differently. Your brain gets hijacked by its own anxiety, its own desire to just make a good impression.
And sometimes it fails at the single least interesting thing about a person.
The name.
The arbitrary sound their parents assigned them before they had done a single thing in the world worth remembering.
Wow, yeah. The name was always the least of it. What you remember about people, the real stuff, the texture of who they are, how they made you feel, the stories they shared, that part is still there.
It is always there.
You have not lost your ability to connect. You just process the connection differently. So the next time you find yourself standing in front of someone, experiencing those 12 seconds of pure panic because their name has vanished.
Just take a moment to notice what did stick.
Exactly. What do you remember about them? Because whatever your brain chose to hold on to tells you exactly what your mind truly values.
That is such a comforting thought. Well, before we go, we just want to say thank you to our amazing listeners for spending your time with us today. We truly appreciate your support.
We really do. And tell us in the comments, what is the most embarrassing time you forgot a name? Or do you have a specific trick you use to remember?
We love reading your messages. Give this video a like if it helped you feel understood today, and do not forget to subscribe for more easy, calm, and fun psychology lessons.
Share this video with a friend who always forgets names, and be sure to watch more full practice videos on our Think Simple podcast channel.
Until next time, keep practicing, be kind to yourself, and enjoy your day. Bye for now.